there's 13 tribes of Israel. So what I wanted to do was execute and crucify 13 priests and put one of the tribes of Israel in each of their right ears, which I did with this priest. I put the tribe of Benjamin. And then the 14th I wanted to do for Adam, because clearly Adam was God's one and only created son in his image, is the first story told in the Bible.
Hi, Mr. Steve.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Excellent.
Did you kill Pastor Bill Shaneman?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's a long story, but to summarize it, Yahavah alone is God. It's the first commandment. It's the most important commandment of them all. The preachers are, in my perspective, are leading the flocks astray. They're preaching that Jesus is God's only son and God also. That's not what God said. Very clearly, he said that he alone is God. It's the first commandment. And so with the belief that Jesus is the only son of God and God, God's laws were annulled entirely. There's 13 tribes of Israel. So what I wanted to do was execute and crucify 13 priests and put one of the tribes of Israel in each of their right ears, which I did with this priest. I put the tribe of Benjamin. And then the 14th I wanted to do for Adam, because clearly Adam was God's one and only created son in his image, is the first story told in the Bible.
So you feel the difference is between regular people that believe in God and pastors or preachers, that there's a difference there?
Huge difference, because the first commandment is the most important commandment of them all. Pornography, drugs, the sanctity of marriage is completely eroded. It's vicious out there. Somebody like me who's been in and out of prison, you know, the prisons are flooded with drugs. And I'm thinking to myself, the world is a wreck. You know,
but if you're talking about sin, murder is a sin.
Well, yeah, it is a sin, but God also commanded us to execute anyone that's preaching that someone other than him is God, because it's that serious. They're claiming that Jesus is God and that somebody other than God is God. So what's this Jesus is only God's son garbage that I was raised to believe? That's not what God said.
So when did this plan come to fruition? You're thinking about this, you want to carry out this hit list?
Yes.
A hit list.
Sure.
14 pastors.
That's right. Around the nation, to surround the nation.
Starting in Arizona?
Starting in Arizona, where I was born. Where it starts is where it ends, like the Garden of Eden.
How did you pick out these pastors and these preachers?
I just let the Spirit follow me wherever I landed. And the first one where I went was Olive Street, the Church of Christ. And I thought, well, that makes sense. There shouldn't be a Church of Christ. There should only be a Church of Yahavah.
So you get to Phoenix.
I get to Phoenix. I just set up a tent under a tree on Olive Street. And I followed that priest home Sunday after Easter service. And when he pulled into his driveway, the two women came out of the garage. I'm not interested in executing anyone other than the pastors or the shepherds leading the flock astray. So then I said to myself, okay, I need to find pastors or priests that live alone. And so I set up another tent off of a Carefree Highway between 24th and 16th Street, and I was looking at those churches, and then I happened to stumble across the New River Church, and I followed him home, and I saw that he lived alone.
So you had no previous contact with Pastor Bill?
Zero. I didn't want any previous contact. My only criteria was you're breaking the first commandment.
Pastor Bill was innocent.
Innocent? in your perspective, there's nothing
But not
worse.
yours.
But there's nothing worse than breaking the first commandment. All you got to do is just worship Jesus and you go to heaven. Your sins are all forgiven. That's not what God said.
But do you think God was going to forgive your sins?
Absolutely, he'll forgive my sins. He's a forgiving God. He's a loving God.
How do you justify that? I mean, if you're killing somebody or multiple people attempted,
Okay, but
how does that work?
It's a commandment to rid Israel of evil.
You see Bill.
Yeah.
You follow him home.
That's right.
What happens next?
Then I follow him home. I see that he lives alone. All right. I go back to the house, or I go back to the desert where I'm camping. I need weapons, right? I need something to execute him with. So I go into a house. I walk to a house and go into it. There's no one living there. And I'm in Phoenix for the tribe Benjamin. It's the first tribe up. And there's a rifle under the bed that has painted on it, Phoenix Benjamin, which was a pellet gun. But I thought, Benjamin Phoenix, that's what I'm supposed to use. I don't know, it was just crazy coincidence.
You're hiding outside.
I'm hiding outside the house. The helicopter's on top of me. We're maybe 5 blocks from the house because I ran through the mountain. Then I waited for the helicopter to leave. I've done this, I've been in and out of prison, so I know. I ran the police probably 100 times in my life. So I leave, and then when I come back to the house later after all the police leave, my car, they confiscated, they took it, so now I don't have a vehicle. So I broke back into the house because I know there's a truck in the garage. I got the supplies I needed to do the execution, and I drove from there to Bill's house, like 2 in the morning on a Sunday night, and I executed him. And then I crucified him by nailing him to the wall, screwing him to the wall. It's fast. I mean, it's, I didn't want it to be bloody. I didn't want it to be a painful. I'm not trying to torture the guy. I just wanted to execute him quickly. So I just put my hand over his mouth and told him to sit still, don't move, and wait until he stopped breathing.
What did you feel in that moment?
I'm executing a plan, and so in that moment, I wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to start breathing again. And then I took a stud finder, found the studs in the wall, and I had a power drill, and I put him in the cross position on the wall, and I screwed him to the wall. And then I had a crown of thorns I put on his head, and in a leather strap, I had hammered in the tribe of Benjamin in Hebrew letters, in large letters, and on the other side, I had the first commandment in Hebrew letters, that Yahavah alone is God. And I hung that from his right ear with a rusty piece of wire that I had through the leather strap that I already had pre-ready to go. Yeah. So I just punched it through his ear and hung it. So he's crucified against the wall with the image of Jesus. Because what I'm saying is, what you're preaching is not what God said. It's the opposite of what God said.
Most people that would come into that scene, Bill's murder scene, would be horrified.
Sure,
Horrified.
that's right.